Live from a water-damaged basement in Prince George's County, Maryland, welcome to our third annual social distancing concert during this time of coronavirus. How's everybody doing out there? Many of you know this. My name is Joe Pug. If you don't know it, if a friend sent you this link and you clicked on it because you're curious, we've been doing these concerts a bit for the last couple of weeks while the virus is going around, and we're going to continue to do them as long as it is. I hope your last week was good, in shelter in place, in quarantine and all that. Ours was all right. We had a strange one here. I got a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old at home. The 1-year-old managed to dislocate her elbow, and we had to go to an emergency room in the era of coronavirus, which was not great. Not great. I hope you guys are not spending that much time in emergency rooms this week. I really do, and I hope everyone out there is healthy. I'm just going to take a moment. This time we kind of have a theme for this social distancing concert. The other ones I've just been kind of playing willy-nilly, but this one I'm going to play in its entirety here at the start. My first release, my first record, called The Nation of Heat EP. I put this out when I was about 24 years old, and it has remained, it's had the most legs out of any record I've ever put out. It's the one that's been the most endearing to fans and listeners and stuff like that. So this one got made, I was about 24 years old. I just moved to Chicago. I left the University of North Carolina the day before my senior year, just because I was not feeling it. Nothing to do with the university, everything to do with me. And I moved to Chicago. I lived with my buddy Thomas for a little while. And then I moved into a room I was renting at the time, a room that I was renting for $300 a month, which I'm sure younger artists will shake their fist at, because I don't know anywhere in the world where you could rent a room for $300 a month these days, but that's what I was doing. And I just kind of hunkered down. I was working construction during the day, and then at night I was going to every open mic in the city that I could find to try out these songs, to workshop these songs that I'd been writing. And it took me about 2 years, and I eventually recorded it at a studio in Chicago called Rax Tracks with my good friend Jeremy Miller. And we'd record it after hours, like when people would cancel a session or when a session was already supposed to be over. Jeremy would get us in there for free. And we recorded this record, and it changed my life. This album really changed the course of my life. And it's interesting. I think with a lot of artists, their first album always becomes the most beloved among listeners, is always the most endearing to listeners. And I think that for some artists that kind of messes with their heads. They take it as almost an insult to later releases or something like that. But as I've gotten older, I really don't see it like that. You know, when people request songs from this record or want to hear them, I don't think it has anything to do with the older or the newer releases that have come after. I think it has everything to do with, you get one chance to make a first impression. And I think this record, Nation of Heat, was exactly the first impression that I was born to make, that I was meant to make. And I stand by it to this day, about 10 years later. So thank you for being here today to hear me play this record in its entirety. I'm going to play this, and then I'm going to take some questions and take some requests and play some other songs from other records. Thanks for being here on this Sunday night. I hope you are well. I hope everyone in your family is well. I hope you're healthy. I hope you're happy. I hope you're getting through this strange time as best as possible. So now, without further ado, here is the Nation of Heat EP. And I've come to know the wish list of my father. I've come to know the shipwrecks where he wished. I've come to wish aloud among the overdressed crowd. Come to witness now the sinking of the ship, throwing pennies from the sea top next to it. And I've come to roam the forest past the village with a dozen lazy horses in my cart. I've come here to get high, to do more than just get by. I've come to test the timber of my heart. Well, I've come to test the timber of my heart. And I have come to be untroubled in my seeking. I have come to see that nothing is for naught. I've come to reach out blind, to reach forward and behind. For the more I seek, the more I'm sought. Yeah, the more I seek, the more I'm sought. And I've come to meet the sheriff and his posse, to offer him the broadside of my jaw. I've come here to get broke and then maybe bum a smoke. We'll go drinking 2 towns over after all. We'll go drinking 2 towns over after all. And I've come to meet the legendary takers. I've only come to ask them for a lot. They say I've come with less than I should rightfully possess. I say the more I buy, the more I'm bought. And the more I'm bought, the less I cost. And I have come to take their servants and their surplus. And I have come to take their raincoats and their speed. I've come to get my fill, to ransack and spill. I've come to trade the harvest for the seed. Oh, I've come to trade the harvest for the seed. And I've come to know the manger that you sleep in. I have come to be the stranger that you keep. I have come from down the road, and my footsteps never slowed. Before we met, I knew we'd meet. Oh, before we met, I knew we'd meet. And I've come here to ignore your cries and heartaches. I've come to closely listen to you sing. I've come here to insist that I leave here with a kiss. I've come to say exactly what I mean, and I mean so many things. And you've come to know me stubborn as a butcher, and you've come to know me thankless as a guest. But will you recognize my face when God's awful grace strips me of my jacket and my vest and reveals all the treasure in my chest? Right on. First song of Nation of Heat, that's called Hymn 101. Pardon me while I check my phone. My manager was going to text me to tell me if the sound was messed up or if the sound was good. So let's see. Sounds perfect. Best yet is what he says, which is saying a lot because this is not what the text looked like during the first show that we did 2 weeks ago. Very good. I'm glad that it sounds awesome. Let's rock and roll. The next song off this, I actually wrote part of this record we recorded in a studio actually on Vancouver Island. One of my father's friends, my dad played in bands for years in the Washington, D.C. area, and one of his friends, who was a producer and engineer who lived out there in Vancouver Island, a guy named Richard Sales. I went out and recorded some of the album with him, and I drove my truck from Chicago. I had this old little 97 Ford Ranger manual. Shout out to people that can drive a manual. And this Ford Ranger that I called Seabiscuit was the name of the Ford Ranger, and I drove this out from Chicago to Vancouver Island to record a couple of songs, and I wrote this song on the way out after being just thoroughly searched by the Canadian Border Patrol. So can I send this out to the Canadian Border Patrol right now? Because I'm going to. This is the second song off the record. Silver cans and bronze-colored dirt. Silver cans and bronze-colored dirt. Things end so soon, neath a parking lot moon. Silver cans in bronze-colored dirt. She said, let's call it quits. Let's not call it the end of the world. Call it what you will. I'm heartbroken still. The words are just words. Road salt on 995. Road salt on 995. Forget what you're told. It's bound to get cold. Oh, there's road salt on 995. I call today a disaster. She calls it December the 3rd. Call it what you will. I'm heartbroken still. The words are just words. On a brief and star-stricken night. On a brief and star-stricken night. I called her name on the road from Spokane. On a brief and star-stricken night. I hear blue heron crying. Some folk just call it a bird. Call it what you will. I'm heartbroken still. Words are just words. Some calling it a beginning, but for right now, they'll go unheard. Call it what you will. I'm heartbroken still. Words are just words. Right on. That's the second song off Nation of Heat. Wherever you are in the world, I raise a glass to you. Cheers. Where are you in the world? Let me know where you are. Drop a comment in. I'm looking forward to doing some Q&A later, so let me know where you're listening from. It's always fun to see. Okay, we've got to drop it down to D for the third song on this record. Now listen, I usually play almost all the songs of this record in concert. The one that I'm about to play right now, I don't normally play in concert, at least not recently, so forgive me. I practiced this one a bunch today, so forgive me if I flub it in some way, but I think we're in good shape. The trees of the Casbah, beneath the roots of those trees, on the casket floor, on the casket floor. The bottom of me feels so complete. And around my childhood museums, there stand Chinese guards. One of them has a bell, one of them has a bell they rings. When I come too close or leave too far, you might say that it's reckless, you might say that it's wild, but I'd rather be nobody's man than somebody's child. Now there's splinters in my fingers, and there's Portland cement in my lungs. I got a hammer and a cough, I got a hammer and a cough, and all of my friends speaking foreign tongues. There's an ugliness growing up inside me. From where it has come, I don't know. I left my sweetness beside my sweetness beside that girl I goodbye long ago. They might find my body at the bottom of the pile, but I'd rather be nobody's man than somebody's child. Such plans they have, such gods they have, deep in this nation of heat. We've been outdone again, we've been outdone again, and all of my friends, they walk on their feet. In the Congress, jackals put a tax on my smile, but I'd rather be nobody's man than somebody's child. I might move to Las Vegas, live there for a while, 'cause I'd rather be nobody's. I'd rather be nobody's man than somebody's child. I made it through it. I did it. I remembered all the lyrics, thank God. Plus, I'm using a condenser mic down here now, so you can hear the only accompaniment that I have in the background is just a that's not a synthesizer, that's like an analog synthesizer sound, which is my infant daughter's cries coming down through the heat ducts from her bedroom to down here. So I know that you thought it was a very fancy Moog machine in the background, but it was just my daughter crying because Daddy can't attend to her because Daddy's playing a concert. So. I can't believe it takes this long in this album to get to a harmonica break. But apparently it does. The harp looms large during the rest of the record for sure. I am the day, I am the dawn, I am the darkness coming on. And I am once, I am twice, I am the whole, I'm just a slice. Some call me gone, some call me here, none are wrong, none are near. I am right now, I am back then, I will return, don't ask me when. I am the disappointed kiss, I am the unexpected harvest. I am the old Kentucky home, I am the son who runs the farthest. I have done wrong, I will do wrong, there's nothing wrong with doing wrong. And I am faith, I am belief, except for when I'm not. I am the teeth of champions, I am rust and water rot. And I'm sleep, I'm breathing, I'm the missing of the passing seasons. I am the brush, I am the strokes, I'm sickness come to the best of folks. I am renewed, I am just made, I am unchanged. I'm a pasture fenced about the edge, I am Dakota thunder raging. And by my shoes and by my feet and by my soul and wonder, I am the tracks we've laid above, I am the tunnel running under. That's Hymn 35 off the Nation of Heat EP. I'm going to grab another guitar, pardon me. Get this dude tuned up here. Yeah, so I recorded this album at Rax Track Studios in Chicago, and then a few songs out on Vancouver Island, and then I was just doing these handmade demos that I'd pass out at shows and stuff. And then when I was about 23 or 24, I was playing a residency at a club in Chicago called the Double Door, and for a while they had a downstairs venue that was smaller called the Dirt Room. So it was like the Dirt Room at the Double Door. Going back into Chicago history here. And at that time, the way that all this came about and the way that this album got to more people was there was a music writer named Don Bartlett that came to one of my shows because his girlfriend really liked my music, Sharon Golden. And he dug it, and he ended up becoming my manager, and we built this thing together, and he put together all the artwork for this stuff, all the graphic design and stuff, and then we managed to get a few like reviews for it and stuff like that. And I went from building houses in Chicago to traveling around the world playing music. And I'm not going to say that every one of those gigs was playing, the United Center or anything like that. Certainly haven't been, but this record really changed my life. It really did. I never get tired of playing the songs on this album. I never get tired of playing this album. I never get tired of people requesting songs from it. It changed my life in a really a meaningful way. So anyway, I'll stop blabbing. Here's the fifth song of this record. When the party starts on Monday and Christmas starts in June, when no one minds, I just arrived and I'll be leaving soon. If I return with eyes half open, don't ask me where I was. I do my fatherhood's drugs. When every revolution is sponsored by the state, there's no bravery in bayonets in tearing down the gates. If you see me with a rifle, don't ask me what it's for. I fight my father's wars. When hunger strikes a fashion and freedom is routine, when all the streets in Cleveland are named for Martin Luther King, you will see me at the protest, but you'll notice that I drag. I burn my father's flag. When the party starts on Monday and Christmas starts in June, when no one minds, I just arrived and I'll be leaving soon. If I return with eyes half open, don't ask me where I was. I do my father's drugs. I do my father's drugs. Thank you. I do my father's drugs off of the Nation of Heat EP. I wish you health again, wherever you are in the world. This song has also become a staple at concerts over the years. We usually close shows with this song. I speak plainly, Diana. There's nothing to understand. Yes, there's mysteries in the basement, but there's comic books upstairs. And there's a wrecking ball in the front yard, but there's blueprints on the couch. Speak plainly to me, Diana. We'll build ourselves a house. Said, I don't mind riding around. I don't mind riding around. There's no safety, Diana. There's nobody to blame. Even daylight will surprise you. Even dreams will end the same. When there's too much to remember, and you remember me, speak plainly to me, Diana. We'll swim into the sea. I said I don't mind riding around. I don't mind riding around. I don't mind riding around. No, I don't mind riding around. 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 Oh, come lately, Diana, and quit what's got you down. Steal from the daughter's cabinets, make your favorite sound. And when there's too much to get rid of, and you get rid of me, oh, speak plainly to me, Diana. There's nothing you must be. I said I don't mind riding around. 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 I don't mind. Thank you for being here, and thanks for listening. It's a penultimate song on Nation of Heat there. Speak plainly, Diana. And now we're going to play the title track. I wrote this song. There was a coffee shop up in Evanston I used to drive to on the weekends when I wasn't working in the mornings. I used to go to K Brothers Coffee in Evanston, and I would get ripped on coffee, ripped on caffeine. Have never done cocaine before, but imagine that this was just a small variant of what the best cocaine high could be, because I would get ripped on coffee at K Brothers. And I would write these songs, and I remember specifically writing this song there. And when I finished it, I felt like I knew it was a song that would connect with people. And then to a certain degree it did over the years. So this is the last song from the Nation of Heat EP, a record that made my life as I knew it at the time change. Across from the prison and beside the Great Lake, below the rooftops and above the highway, the spirits pay rent on the basements they haunt, and the painters just draw pictures of the things that they want. Cook my dinner on a blacktop street. I come the Nation of Heat. Outside the train station there's a bold painted sign. It says, try to be patient, don't forget to choose sides. We got the loudest explosions you ever heard. We got $2 soldiers and $10 words. If I didn't own books, I wouldn't need feet. I come the Nation of Heat. So swift and so vicious are the carnival rides. In the carnival bar, go yell your name for a bribe. We got billboards for love and Japanese cars. It ain't rare to hear the streetlights call themselves stars. The more that I learn, the more that I cheat. I come from the nation of heat. I've seen skeleton mothers and hungry folks across the street from the kitchens that cook dinner the most. Sometimes you hear whispers by the dark of the moon. Yet we promised too much and gave it too soon. Even our coughs and our fevers compete. I come from the nation of heat. Blocking borders with smiles, our immigrant sons. We measure loneliness in miles and misery in tons. There's a straw-headed man rowing away from the shore. He says it's a shame they don't let you have slaves here anymore. I'm the ugliest man that surely will meet. I come from the nation of heat. That's it. We did it, you guys. We played Nation of Heat, the album in its entirety. Pretty short album. But if you listen to my catalog at all, I think you'll notice that I do have a taste for pretty short albums in general. So thanks for listening to this. What we're going to do now, I'm going to hang out here for a while longer, quite a while longer. I'm going to answer some questions right now, and then I'm going to take some requests and just generally play some tunes from the rest of the catalog. So if you were just joining us for Nation of Heat, thank you for doing that. Thanks for being here. It was nice to see you on your Sunday night. I hope your next week goes well. I'm not going to do a concert next week on Easter, but I'll be back the Sunday after that. And if you are sticking around, toss a question here in the comments. I'm jumping over to the comments now. Let's see. Okay, I'm in the comments. Please tread lightly, my friends. Let's see. Okay, I'm seeing some requests. I feel your requests, y'all. I see those. I'm just seeing lots of nice adulation, and that is fantastic. What is the story behind I Do My Father's Drugs? I had written, I totally stole the melody from a Handsome Family song called After We Shot the Grizzly, which I probably shouldn't be admitting on an open live stream here. But I think if it did go to court, I could prove that it was a bit different. But yeah, I kind of got that. There's kind of an Irish melody to that. And I took it and I made it my own. And then, I don't know, I've just been working on this idea that that protest, once protest stops becoming dangerous and once protest actually becomes sort of like a social a way to enhance your own social status, it really changes the moral fiber of what you're doing when you protest something. And so that was certainly, that was the point of that song, that there is a difference in the way that people can protest things, and people who are under duress doing it and people who are not popular while they're protesting something actually, I think, could claim to have the moral high ground. And if you're doing something just because a lot of other people are doing it and it'll make you popular as well, then it's not that I question how genuine you are about the cause, but I think it is a degree lesser honorable than someone who's doing it in a way where they're bringing all the where they're bringing venom towards them, and where it's not a popular stand to take. Okay. How's my family? My family's great. Thanks for asking. I got a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. My wife's a teacher here in Prince George's County, Maryland. She is continuing to work, telework, and being paid. Thank God. Thank you to the state of Maryland and to Prince George's County. And my kids are good. I mean, they find it kind of odd that they can't hang out with other people, but they're getting with the program. And besides my daughter dislocating her elbow, she's fine now. And she's a tough cookie, so it's no problem. Thanks for asking about my fam. Let's see here. What was your very first guitar, and what year was that? I got my first guitar when I was in 5th or 6th grade. It was an Oscar Schmidt 3/4 size guitar, which I actually still own, and which is upstairs in my house right now. I'm in the basement right now, but I had this little 3/4 size guitar. It's actually really good for little kids. If you have a little kid and you want them to learn at home, one of the problems can sometimes be how big the body of the guitar is, and also how big the neck is compared to their hand. So if you just Google 3/4 size guitar, I don't know if Oscar Schmidt is still making those 3/4 size, but those are really good. The one that I own is perfect for a kid to learn on, and it's still perfect to write on. And I'm sure that other companies make 3/4 size in general. So, maybe, again, I'm not going to do a show next week, but maybe the week after this, when I live stream again, I will bring down my 3/4 size guitar and let you guys see. Okay, here, I'll answer a few more questions, and then I'll play a few more tunes. Eric Ballman. Eric Ballman asks, how has fatherhood affected you as a songwriter? Before I had kids, I really thought that it would affect me in like a spiritual way in my work, and in a moral or ethical way. I don't know. I was pretty up there with how I thought it was going to affect me, but it turns out that the only way that being a father has affected me is that I have no time to write songs anymore. You can't, as a parent of young kids, you just really cannot explain to people how little time you have, and you really, every parent has this feeling, but you look back and you wonder how you marvel at the amount of time that you used to have on your hands empty that you did nothing with. At least I do. I have a feeling that a lot of other people do as well. So yeah, that's how it's affected me. I just don't have any damn time to write songs, thanks to my kids. Okay, one more question and we'll go back to playing some tunes. Let's see here. What is your favorite? Okay, so Tim Ward Jr. over at Ye Olde YouTube asks, what's my favorite alternate tuning? So I have a really strange alternate tuning that I like. The guitar that I was just playing on there, it's kind of my own alternate tuning. So every time I play a show, my Sunburst guitar is in standard tuning. And then I'll have a darker guitar that I'll use, another Guild, a D25, that is in standard tuning, but a step and a half down. Okay? So it's basically when you're on that guitar and you play in a G formation, you're playing in E, because it's a step and a half down. If you go to step and a half down from G, obviously you're at E. So I think it makes the guitar sound a lot richer. I like to play in the G formation, which would be E, and I also like to play in the C formation, which on that guitar would be the key of A, which suits my voice a lot better, and I think it makes the guitar sound a lot richer. So here, I'll play a song on that right now. This is the guitar that's a step and a half down. So if I play, strangely enough, see this E formation that I'm on, this is actually a C sharp that I'm about to play, which is a strange key, but so this is it. Super low. And then if I'm here, that's an E, even though I'm in a G formation. So that's my favorite alternate tuning. Let me stop blabbing at you and let me play a few more songs. To meet me is to dare into the darkness. But if you are devoted to a dream, go and light the lantern, leave your family abandoned. Meet me by the shallow of the stream. Ah, meet me by the shallow of the stream. To ask me is to love with hesitation. My answer is the same as it has been. Here is my affection, no conditions and no questions. Open up the door and let me in. Ah, open up the door and let me in. To trust me is to travel past the towers. Those who make it back from here are few. It takes all your devotion to have courage for a moment. The world has bested better men than you. Ah, the world has bested better men than you. To love me is to sit upon the mountain. Every step is harder than the last, but to find the step above it is to triumph, is to summit. Taste the frigid water from the tap. I'll taste the frigid water from the tap. Curse me for the life we left behind us is to misremember what was caused. For from the vacant cradle to the empty kitchen table, show me what was precious that was lost. Oh, I'm sorry that I said it, and I know it might be reckless. Ah, show me what was precious that was lost. That's a song called Hymn 76, which is the first song off a record of mine called The Great Despiser. Cheers again, guys, wherever you are. I'm going to play another one deep down here in C sharp. I have an aunt that's been texting me. She's been watching all these shows. She's been texting me, telling me that I got to play this song. We're in a strange world now. Normally, I don't even take requests when I'm playing live at a club, and now I'm taking text requests from my aunt. So here we are. That's the world we're living in now. I don't play this one a lot live. This one's for Aunt Mary. And she wanted to hear, last week after the show, she texted me. She wanted to hear this one. So Aunt Mary, all the way down to Florida, I'm sending this your way. This is where you're from. You grew up in Montgomery County, Maryland. And this is about where you're from. When I was a young man, I released my feet. They carried me strong across the trouble I'd meet. When without peace, when weary the most, they'd head for the east, and I'd sleep on the coast. When the summer was ripe, come and knock on my door. See my friends and their pipes sit upon my porch. A life was the highway, a light was the bridge. I got high in a way that I haven't got since. Oh my Chesapeake, oh my Chesapeake, forget all the things my soul does seek. A boy needs no dinner when the tobacco is sweet. I sleep tonight on the Chesapeake. We ran down our nights in rundown hotels with balcony cries and bottles and bills, to abandoned weeks, to hangover days, to not quit tomorrow what we could quit today. Oh my Chesapeake, oh my Chesapeake, forget all the things my soul does seek. A boy needs no dinner when the tobacco is sweet. I sleep tonight on the Chesapeake. I sleep tonight on the Chesapeake. And now every summer I hear no call. If my friends are not lawyers, they don't work at all. You can call that man history who lives in the past. Can you blame him for asking for something to last? Oh my Chesapeake, oh my Chesapeake, forget all the things my soul does seek. Another Sunday dead, another needless week. I sleep tonight on the Chesapeake. I sleep tonight on the Chesapeake. I'll sleep tonight on the Chesapeake. Boom. There you go, Aunt Mary. Here, I'm going to jump down to the comments again, answer a few questions, and look for a few more requests, and then I'm going to call it. I'm just going to play a few more songs here. Let's see here. Oh, I see some wonderful requests here. That's great. Thank you. Okay, where's the question? What has been your favorite Working Songwriter episode? Well, folks who are jumping on here to hear the music and don't know it, I have a monthly podcast, which right now during the pandemic is a weekly podcast called The Working Songwriter, where I interview songwriters that I love and adore. And I would say, I know that it might be recency bias, but I don't think it is. I just recorded an episode with an iconic troubadour named Todd Snyder that I think is the best episode of the show. And I think Todd is so easy to interview. He has so many interesting things to say. And then I think we got some good history in there too. And I think we got a good poem in there as well. So I think that has been my favorite Working Songwriter episode. Let's find a few more here. Wow, lots of love for Aunt Mary for that request. I got to say, that's good. Everyone's on the Aunt Mary train. There we go. Where's the questions, y'all? Let me go down to the comments a little bit further. Favorite lyric I've ever written? Now that's choosing between children. I can't really do that. Okay, Moby Dick is your favorite. Okay, so let's see. Here we go. Robert Brack says, last week you mentioned Moby Dick is your favorite book. Do you have a favorite poem? I do have a favorite poem. There's a couple that vie for the top spot. For me, there's a couple classic poems that I like that duke it out for the top. I would either say, you can't beat Leaves of Grass, Uncle Walt. Can't beat that. Per usual, you're going to get used to in these live streams. I'm just going to recommend the most anodyne Penguin classic things to read possible, because I'm a pretty basic person. But I think Leaves of Grass definitely does it for me. And then there's a lot of Dylan Thomas that does it for me. We just did a poem on the podcast this last week called Fern Hill, which is a classic poem of his, and is just beautiful, talking about youth. And then in the more modern sense, there's a poet in West Virginia who's actually a cabinet maker by trade to make his living. His name is Steve Scafidi, and he has a couple works out. One of them is called The Cabinet Maker's Window, but he has a poem called Thank You, Lord, for the Dark Ablaze, which I think, just Google Steve Scafidi, Scafidi. Of course, I'm recommending the other Italians here on this show, right? Steve Scafidi, Thank You, Lord, for the Dark Ablaze, I think is a poem that would measure up to anything that Uncle Walt wrote or Dylan Thomas. It's an amazing poem. Here, let's do one more question. What inspired you to write How Good You Are? Well, let's go here. I'll play this song right after I talk about it. This song, I had some friends of mine who decided in some ways that they were going to run away from life. They had enough money where they would be able to run away from the world in a certain sense. And I didn't think that there was any running away from the world whatsoever. I don't think that that's a possible thing, even if you have the money to do it. And so I don't know why the song came out like this, but this was my thought of them. I was really skeptical about their ability to cut themselves off from the world just because they had money. And so I'll play that song right now. The song's called How Good You Are. I was born into a circus, but I ran off to join a home. Oh, they said that I was worthless, that my family died unknown. So it gets and so it goes, that's what you get, I suppose, for wanting something more than a life of rock and roll. All the Christians left behind at the crossroads of your town. Oh, they're playing truth or dare neath the sanctuary now. Some wish they had the truth, some wish they had to go, but there ain't no sense in even from the holy game you know. Oh, I know how good you are, how hard it is, how good you are. There's a butler in your hallway. He is troublesome and old. He repeats the word alive to describe your family goal. You ask him please to go, but there's one thing you don't know. He carved April 7th, 65 into the side of your piano. Oh, I know how good you are, how hard it is, how good you are. Everything that you were meant for, everything that you were born to do, does not need you to do it. Someone else was born to do it too. Now, like a half-grown man, you barely learned how to stand. If you shut up with what you're chosen, you hear something choosing you. Oh, I know how good you are, how hard it is, how good you are. That's How Good You Are, off of Messenger. I'm going to answer just a few more questions, and then I'm going to play one more tune. And then I'm going to bid you good night. So let's see what you guys have to ask here. Okay, this is a fun one. What is your favorite pizza that's not Lido's? I'd love to hear Lock the Door, Christina. Wow, Christina, you really you kind of manipulated me there in that you knew I was going to respond to. So as I told you, this show is coming from a water-damaged basement in Prince George's County, Maryland. And Prince George's County, Maryland has a pizza chain called Lido's Pizza, which is a square pie with a really sweet sauce and smoked mozzarella on top, and these big fat discs of pepperoni, one per slice on them, and it's really good. So you really tugged at my heartstrings by referencing Lido's in order to get a request in, and I don't know how I feel about that, Christine. I think that's relatively manipulative, but yeah, I'd say Lido's is one of my favorite, and what I've been doing a lot during this quarantine, during this shelter at home, which I encourage you guys to do. If you have a cast iron pan, you can make this. And if you don't have a cast iron pan, now is the time to go to Lodge.com. Lodge Skillets. They make really good cast iron pans. Order one to come to your house. There's no reason not to have a cast iron pan. And I've been making cast iron pizza. And here's how you do cast iron pizza. It's really good. Make your own dough. Got to Google that, figure it out. It's pretty easy. Make your own dough. Let it rise overnight. Put it in your cast iron. Top it with whatever you want to top it with. Put it in your oven. Then you let that cook at the highest that you can in the oven. And then the top finishes first. But what's great about the cast iron is then you take it out and you put the cast iron on the burner. Then you turn the flame up on the burner and you finish the bottom. And it is, it's the best pizza that you can make at home unless you have a fancy schmancy pizza oven of some kind. It's really good. So I would go to Serious Eats cast iron pizza. Google that. Trust me, I will be responsible for you gaining 10 to 15 pounds if you do that. Okay, one more question. I'm going to play one more tune and then get out of here. Let's see. Was it hard to quit smoking on the road? I smoked cigarettes for over 10 years. I started smoking Parliament Blues when I was in high school, and I was up to about a pack a day of Marlboro Reds by the time I got to college, and I was over a pack a day by the time I quit of Marlboro Reds. I loved cigarettes. To be honest, I still do love cigarettes. I haven't had one in, but it was just the 5-year anniversary last year that I haven't had one. So was it hard to quit on the road? I don't know. I think it's hard to quit anytime. It's a really hard addiction to quit. When I started thinking about quitting cigarettes, I literally could not imagine or conceive my life without cigarettes in them. Cigarettes were the reason that I woke up in the morning. I hate to put it that bluntly, but I loved smoking so much. But I knew I didn't want to do it into my 30s, if possible. I didn't want to do it going forward. And so I went, everyone always brags about going the cold turkey route, man, but I went with the patches. And I found that the patches really helped. And I also found that trying to quit, it took me about 2 years to quit. And I would quit for as long as 4 months or something like that, and then fall back and I go right back to it and all that. And, but something about quitting that last time, I didn't even think that the last time was going to be different. I was like, here we go again. I'm going to try to quit cigarettes again with the nicotine patch. Let's see how this goes. And it just took my soul, something in my spirit and my soul. I was just done with it, man. I was just done having to quit. I was just done smoking and having to pay for it. And I was done, getting terrible colds. I was done not being able to sing some nights. So if you're looking to quit, I'll just say that it looked impossible to me before I did it, for sure. But, and it took a long time. And don't be afraid to be one of the people that don't do it cold turkey. Everyone likes to brag about how they did it cold turkey. That's great. It doesn't matter the method that you do it at all. That's like bragging about how you made an album. It's like, cool, man. I don't care how you made your album. I care how the album sounds. And with quitting smoking, I don't care how you quit smoking. I care if you're not smoking cigarettes anymore. So, the patch really worked for me, and multiple tries really worked for me. And yeah, it was hard, but some things in life are hard. So there's that. Okay, I'm going to play you guys one more song. Thanks so much for hanging out with me tonight here at our live stream. And I've mentioned this once or twice before, but if you're joining us now, I will not be here next Sunday. Next Sunday is Easter, so I will not be here. But in general, going forward, while this pandemic is going on, I will be here every Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, and we will find out different themes for different shows. Obviously, tonight's theme was playing Nation of Heat in its entirety, and we'll come up with some fun themes going forward. Thanks for being here. Thanks for contributing if you can. Thanks for just supporting in general. Thanks for listening. It's making, if I couldn't play music for people during this shutdown, I would go a little bit crazy. So thanks for being here, and thanks for letting me do this for you. It means the world to me. So I'll leave you with this one. This is a song by Harvey Thomas Young. From deep dark wells comes pure clean water, and the ice will melt as the day gets hotter and the night grows old, as the sun climbs into the sky. When now is then and tomorrow's coming, and where you been starts meaning something. As long as you can, just keep stumbling ahead. As long as you're not finished, you You can start all over again. As long as you're not finished, you can start all over again. You can start all over again. From deep dark wells comes pure clean water, and the ice will melt as the day gets hotter, and the night grows old as the sun climbs in the sky. As long as you're not finished, you can start all over again. As long as you're not finished, you can start all over again. As long as you're not finished, you can start all over again. As long as you're not finished, you can start all over again. You can start all over again. Live from a water-damaged basement in Prince George's County, Maryland. That was our third social distancing show. Thank you guys so much. I wish health to you and your families in this strange time, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Peace.